After the Donald Trump administration stated that the Kremlin promised them not to help Iran, they said they take them at their word. Russia only increased the supply of modern drones, as well as intelligence information for these same drones to strike U.S. targets in the Middle East. U.S. intelligence reported that Russia is no longer just helping Iran with intelligence data, but is actually providing the Iranian regime with weapons for direct strikes. At the same time, Donald Trump himself insists that Russia's assistance to Iran does not affect the course of the war at all. In this episode, we will discuss new information about how Russia has started to transfer drones and other weapons to Iran on a large scale, as well as helping the Iranian military target American assets. And the scale of such cooperation will surprise you. And in all of this, Russia even dared to demand that Donald Trump impose sanctions against Europe, because they refused to join the war on the side of the US. My name is Alexei Pichi. Let's discuss this topic together. But before we start, I ask you to subscribe to this channel, give it a like, and leave any comment under this video. And be sure to subscribe to my Telegram channel, Pichi News. The link is in the description of this video. There we post breaking news as it comes in. So, today the Wall Street Journal. Intelligence sources published truly shocking information about how Russia is helping Iran fight against the United States. As the publication writes, shortly after the war in Ukraine began, Iran started supplying Russia with Shahed drones, which it used to bomb Ukrainian cities. But now the situation has changed, and now Vladimir Putin is helping his friend strike military targets of the US and its allies in the Middle East. Russia is providing Iran with information about their locations. This cooperation was established in the early days of the war and has been expanding in recent days. According to representatives of US, European, and even one Middle Eastern country's intelligence services, Russia has recently been directly providing Iran with the necessary satellite images which Iran uses to destroy US targets in the region. In addition, Russia is now sharing more advanced weapons with Iran. С пилотными технологиями. The deliveries include components for modified Shahed drones designed to improve communication, navigation, and targeting. Russia is also sharing its experience gained from bombing Ukraine, providing tactical recommendations on how many drones should be used in operations and from what altitude they should strike. According to Wall Street Journal sources, Moscow's assistance was used in recent Iranian operations. A strike on American radar systems in the Middle East, including the THAAD missile defense early warning radar station in Jordan, as well as other facilities in Bahrain, Kuwait, and Oman. In particular, the data comes from satellites of the Russian Federation's aerospace forces, and next I will quote the Wall Street Journal. If these images contain details, say, of specific types of aircraft, ammunition depots, air defense systems, and, according to sources of the Wall Street Journal, Moscow's assistance in recent events in Iran. Although earlier, Donald Trump stated that what Russia shares with Iran is worthless and does not help Tehran. And one more quote from the Wall Street Journal. Although in June 2025, during the 12-day war with Israel, Iran also did not enter the war. It carried out several strikes on neighboring countries, but this looked like a de-escalation after the United States bombed Iranian nuclear facilities. Now Iran is quite successfully attacking military and civilian targets. The energy infrastructure in several countries has been affected, as well as port facilities, the airport in Dubai, hotels, and residential buildings. U.S. embassies, military bases, and air and missile defense systems have come under attack from drones and ballistic missiles. Bank branches and data centers. Iranian attacks using a large number of drones to suppress radar stations before a missile strike completely replicate Russia's tactics in Ukraine. They are mainly targeting radar stations and operational command posts. Iran's complex strikes have started to strongly resemble Russia's actions in the war against Ukraine. Let me remind you that in January 2025, the presidents of Russia and Iran signed a comprehensive strategic partnership agreement, which came into force in October. It provides for cooperation in the fields of defense, energy, economy, technology, and security. The agreement does not provide for military assistance, and the Kremlin did not support Tehran in any way in June of last year. When the current operation by Israel and the US began, some experts noted that Putin did not have anything to help the Iranian regime with, just as in other cases when his dictator friends in Syria and Venezuela lost power. But as is now becoming clear, this is not the case. Even before the war in the Middle East, Moscow began sharing with Tehran its experience of using its drones in Ukraine. A delegation of several dozen Iranian officers came to Crimea to watch video recordings of strikes on Ukrainian cities and frontline positions. Russia has significantly improved the Iranian drones, which are now being mass-produced in Tatarstan at a facility in Alabuga. The devices are being adapted for more precise navigation and targeting, as well as for countering radar jamming. And Russia is now sharing some of these technologies with Iran. Here's another quote from the Wall Street Journal. Moscow could have provided much more significant military support, but it's trying not to anger Donald Trump, who noted that, in his opinion, Russia might be helping Iran just a little bit. But the types of assistance that Russia provides, including satellite data and advice on drone tactics, although limited, are nevertheless very important for conducting the war and for Iran's ability to strike specific military targets. And here let me remind you that just 5 days ago, Donald Trump admitted that the Russian dictator Vladimir Putin might, as he put it, be helping Iran just a little bit. At the same time, he justified this assistance by the war in Ukraine. Next is a quote from Trump, and you can draw your own conclusions. I think that Vladimir Putin might be helping Iran a little because he apparently thinks that we are helping Ukraine. Isn't that right? And these comments of his came after US intelligence reported that Russia had provided information to Iran that could help Tehran strike American military ships, planes, and other targets in the region. At the same time, when asked for clarification by journalists, the American president admitted that the US is also helping Ukraine. Another quote, "Yes, we are helping them too, and Putin says this and China would say the same thing. You know, to be honest, it's like, hey, they're doing it, so we're going to do it too." Well, in short, according to Trump's logic, it's perfectly normal for Russia to help Iran because the US is helping Ukraine. That's why Trump doesn't see a problem with it and isn't going to slap Russia on the wrist for helping Iran kill American soldiers. Because, remember once again, because the US is helping Ukraine. That's some wonderful logic. I'll leave it at that. Share your opinions and conclusions in the comments below this episode. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, and don't forget to like. Also, if you found this episode interesting and useful, I would appreciate any financial support from you. It will help our channel grow. You can do this through donations, subscriptions, or memberships on YouTube. How to do this. All the links and details are in the description of this video, or you can use the QR code on your screen. That's it for now. Take care. Goodbye, everyone.